Yes and no.
Yes, probably.
No.
No, because I've always very strongly identified as a girl. For instance, I always liked classical ballet, and I like long full skirts and long hair. So when I was little, when I was 3 or 4, I always wanted those things very badly, and now I have them.
In the sense of I feel like it's hard for every woman to be their authentic girl self. So the automatic answer is yes. But I do feel quite lucky in a way, maybe, where I find it quite easy to express myself in the way that I want to a lot of the time. I care about what other people think of me and stuff like that, but never to an extent that really stops me from dressing the way I want or doing the things that I like and stuff like that.
If by that you mean what I would have said and things, like the values that I believed in as a girl, that you'd then have to tone down and all that, then yes, I do. I think, do you want to know about when? When you have to go along with things that are really typical of, just really a creation of the male world. Because I think we live in a male world.
I don't think, I'm not really around men enough anymore, but when I was living with men, especially in first and second year uni, I felt that I definitely had to put on quite a bit of a front in order to match their energy, and I felt like I had to kind of be, I don't know, one of their mates, whilst also still kind of weirdly kind of appearing attractive in a way.
No, I think that for me, I love all things women, feminine. I'm very a female presenting female, I think, and I love the girly things that you'd connotate with girlhood and girliness, and my circle is basically all women as well, so I feel that helps me feel really in my girl being.
There's all these rules and unspoken rules and conventions that you're expected to play along with, but I think by definition they're all very male.
I think that it hasn't always been received well, because it's certainly true, I think, that women are expected to be extremely agreeable, and I'm very disagreeable. So not only am I neutrally agreeable, I'm actually a disagreeable person. I'm quite argumentative and like to see the alternative point of view. So I've many times been accused of being disagreeable. But because I look like a girl, it's just seen as a weird aberration, I think. How can this be unexpected,
I think maybe I started dressing more feminine and stuff when I realised I was being perceived.
I don't think I ever really spoke about a lot of my interests or hobbies or anything like that really when I lived with men.
People just sometimes don't take me seriously as a young woman, but that doesn't make me want to conform. It kind of makes me angry rather than anything.
But then also factor in the northern aspect. So if you're from the southeast or even from a posh family, you're probably expected to be a lot more agreeable. If you're from the north, especially, the north generally, the northeast, I guess, women don't have that expectation that you're highly agreeable.
I can't really think back and pinpoint a moment where I was oh fuck it, it doesn't matter. But I definitely obviously struggled with that, just like everyone else does. But I think my desire to do what I wanted in that sense kind of overpowered it.
I feel really sort of guilty when I don't get behind things that other people seem to celebrate. Our culture lauds these old men and isn't that wonderful, or people, I used to really admire people like Elon Musk and Bill Gates and people like that because they made loads of money, and I just think, but are they heroes? Because all they've done is increase consumerism, and that's created so much pollution, and now there's even litter in the bloody sky, you know, and so my authentic inner girl wants to say they're not heroes at all, they're just pioneers of male ambition. But whenever I've spoken out, I've voiced my genuine feelings about anything even remotely related to the problems with the male world, you're very quickly labelled a man-hater, or worse, you know, you're actually insulted or attacked. Or
I think that people have these perceptions of when women are silly, are fun, people perceive them as being kind of dumb and kind of like airheaded.
But I've got a friend who's from Rossendale in Lancashire, and she also has been told that she was bullying our crazy bullying headmaster just because she was quite assertive with him, and, you know, quite temperamental, quite high temper.
you just got to be very light in all your interaction with the world as a woman. You're not meant to be cross ever. You're not meant to be outraged. You're not meant to tell things like they are. You're meant to always be very, very gentle and be very, very careful of everybody else and everything else. And I just, when you get to my age, you just think, I can't be fucking bothered. I never could be bothered, but, you know, you toe the line a bit more when you're younger, and then as you get older you feel like, oh, I really can't be arsed with that now. Look, I do think most things are part of the male world, and so most of the parts where I'm inhibiting myself is because it's not a world designed for me. But it's not all about, you know, hatred towards women and things like that. It's more just about the values we attach to things. Who's attached this great value and importance to behaving in certain ways?
Like moving around, like moving to different countries and being a really shy kid, I had the experience of being an outsider, like not in a way of like I was a woman outsider, because it was like at an age where that wasn't really a thing, but like I'd had that experience already, so I feel like it made me care a little bit less when I started to realise like the like gender dynamics and stuff.
I went to an all-girls school, and I think there was a lot of like comparisons that I had like with other women, and I think that going to an all-girls school, you put women all in these different boxes and they are what they are kind of thing, especially in like a particularly cliquey like all-girls school, you know. You put these women in boxes and that's how you perceive them, and that's how you see other women as well. So that's what like society as a whole sees a lot of women like.
I engage in behaviours that I don't think are authentic, like really praising men for doing shit just because I want them to carry on doing it, and inside I'm going, sometimes.
She's definitely very sensitive, and I feel like that is the like part of myself that I've tried to like dull down with age, of being like, I'm not gonna survive if I'm this sensitive. And I feel like that was like, I don't know if I was ever like openly criticised for it, but it was kind of like implicit that I was too emotional when I was younger.
I don't know. I think as well, like, I like present myself kind of who I am, and like I am opinionated, I am a bit weird and a bit silly and stuff like that. So I feel like maybe the stuff that like the inner girl of me is maybe she's a bit more like fragile and a bit more vulnerable, which is not something that I will show to everybody. Like having really strong female friendships now has taught me that that's okay to be vulnerable with people and ask for help and stuff. So if I was to speak about my like inner little lady, it would probably be like childhood me rather than who I am now. Like I'm very confident in me, and I've come a long way to get there, but it would probably be like a little picture of me when I was like 5 or 6. That's who I think of, like the girl that needs protecting and the girl that needs looking after, like the baby, because I feel like very maternal to that side of me.
Well, I feel like I definitely think I am like, I know like kind of like I do think I'm pretty like silly and like and very much myself, and I feel like I've never really, especially when I was younger, like I don't think I gave a shit about what other people thought about me, or even just in the privacy of my own home, like around my mum, my sisters.
Perhaps when I was young, there was probably a middle part of life, probably like when I was married and things like that, that then I lost touch with who I was. I sort of let other people tell me who I should be or who my inner girl was, and I just ignored my inner girl, and then I did some like inner child work, and that was amazing, and I really got back in touch with myself, and then life became more authentic again, and that inner girl is playful and happy and looking for fun and enjoys beautiful things and funny things and love, like absolutely full of love, and that part of my inner girl is looking after the other part of my inner girl that is horrified and sickened by the world.
It's extreme romanticism, idealisation, from, like I said before, the ballet. It's sequins, it's having an awful lot of clothes to dress up in. Like my scarf drawer here. So I've got a lot of scarves. Look at that.